Bishop Raphael Thattil was ordained to the priesthood in 1980, having studied Canon Law and Theology in Rome. He became the first rector of Mary Matha Major Seminary in Thrissur, Kerala, in South India. 2 years later, in January 2010, he was appointed the auxiliary bishop of the Diocese of Thrissur. Then, on January 7, 2018, Holy Father Pope Francis appointed him as the first bishop of the Syro-Malabar eparchy of Shamshabad. Bishop Thattil's simple way of life, naturally humorous conversational style, and his youthful personality has earned him a place in the hearts of many young people. Bishop Thattil serves as the Ecclesiastical Advisor to the JesusYouth International Council and sat down with us for a chat that is sure to keep you engaged and make you laugh.
So, Bishop, in these past, I think 2 years, you've been our Ecclesiastical Advisor, is that right?
Yeah.
So, how do you see your role as our movement's Ecclesiastical Advisor?
In October, I met Holy Father during the Adlimna visit of the bishops of Kerala. At last, each bishop had an opportunity to meet the Holy Father and tell him about his diocese and the mission he's doing for the church. So when my chance came, I said, Holy Father, I am the Bishop of Shamshabad, which is the largest diocese given for the mission work. He said, oh, you are the one. Then I said that I am the Ecclesiastical Advisor for International Jesus Youth Movement appointed by Holy See. Then he embraced me. He took his right hand and took me very close to his heart and said, tell the Jesus Youth Movement I love them. Convey my regards and prayers, blessings to all the Jesus Youth Movement. I tell you, Jesus Youth Movement is very much dear to the heart of Holy Father and Holy See. We have a lot to do for the Universal Church. Recently, we had a consultation of the bishops, and some of the bishops were Africa, and they were sharing their experience about Jesus Youth Movement doing among the youngsters in Uganda. And they were telling, we were trying to do the same for years, but we did not reap any reward. But Jesus Youth Movement has some magical attraction. They are conquering our youngsters. They are coming to the church. They love the church. We have a lot of vocations promoted by Jesus Youth Movement. I tell you, Jesus Youth Movement, although within a short span of 25 to 30 years, contributing to the Mother Church a lot, positively, your creativity and your methodology of attracting the youngsters, attracting the families, gives us the message that we fail because our methodology is not attractive. Our pedagogy is to be changed. So I think that I love Jesus Youth Movement because of its success with a witness. You have a success, but with a big witness. Sometimes we have success without witness. So I love this movement and I try my best to be very close to the movement whenever my presence is needed. And here I would like to tell you, Ecclesiastical Advisor does not mean that my methodology shall be a methodology of dominating over you, rather helping you to coordinate better for the good of the church.
Well, thank you, Bishop, and we're very blessed. I think your presence with us is a very visible reminder that as a movement we are connected to the wider church, and we're at the service of the wider church. And thank you very much for your kindness and your leadership. Are there areas where you think that Jesus Youth as a movement should focus in the times ahead? Some new areas or places where we should really focus in as a missionary movement?
I have 2-3 areas to be suggested. Number one, the role of John the Baptist, preparing the way for the church.
Prepare the way.
For example, there are places where priests are not welcome, missionaries are not welcome, where Jesus Youth can enter. I am not, as it's an interview, I am not telling the names of the nations.
Sure.
Otherwise, we are not welcome. But in these countries, we have members of our movement. They prepare the way.
Right, and like you mentioned before, they evangelize by attraction.
They're evangelized by attraction. Number two, complementing ministries. Whereas I would like to take the situation of the Syro-Malabar Diocese of Chicago. This diocese is created for the migrant population from the Syro-Malabar Church scattered all over this continent. But I have a feeling that we have reached only half the way. Our care is mostly the care for the elderly generation. And most of the parents are worried. We have good catechism classes, we have very good faith formation system, but when the kids become teens and adults, they stop going to the church. So our system has some defect in itself. And I think that our defect is we are teaching by preaching through academic labs. Jesus Youth Movement is giving formation more with life labs. It's a complementing thing. You can make our system more fruitful, putting some new pedagogical methodology, especially through life lab systems. I happened to listen a testimony of a young man coming from the Syro-Malabar Church. He was very faithful till 12th standard. Going to the college, he stopped going to church. He was disobedient. He said this is a country where the constitution is the liberty statue. I am free. Don't speak up about the church, the values, the Bible. I will live according to my freedom, my liberty. And the parents were totally upset. And one day, the papa suggested that, why don't you go for a trip with Jesus Youth Movement to Haiti? He was unwilling. But some way his mother could influence him. Papa will spend the whole money. You spare 15 days. Take it as a trip. He was not much motivated, but he went. And during this life lab experience, he was totally broken and converted. He said, I have heard about Jesus feeding the hungry crowd, but I saw with my own eyes people with hunger. Jesus speaking that you have given me home when I was homeless, but I saw with my own eyes lot of people without homes. I think that this complementing ministry of Jesus Youth is not only relevant for the Syro-Malabar Church, it is also relevant for the whole universal church. The third thing which I would like to tell you, Jesus Youth movement always tell that our movement is a movement of initiatives. Every initiative has a space in Jesus Youth movement. When Rex Band started, when they were staging a show in Kerala, one of the bishops, very conservative, asking me, seeing fashion, the code of the dress, is he a Catholic? The one who is staging the show, asking that is he a Catholic? Because he has long hairs, he was having ornaments on the knee, on the ears, on the nose, so typical hippie. And the bishop close to me was asking whether he is a Catholic.
What did you say?
I said he is a Catholic more than you. Very often we make past judgment seeing the dress code, the appearance, the music drums. I think that Jesus Youth has provided a lot of space for music, for dance, for sports. I tell you that being the Ecclesiastical Advisor of Jesus Youth Movement, in my diocese I attract people with cricket competitions. Cricket becomes a means for evangelization. If you invite them for my preaching, they won't come. But the bishop is playing with you cricket, they will come.
So you play cricket?
I try. If selection is made on merit, I will be kicked out. But what I tell you that you are welcoming. Jesus Youth Movement is a welcoming movement. Every initiative has a space and you are welcome. That is a big lesson for the traditional church, I think.
Very interesting. Yeah. Thank you, Bishop. So, going along those lines, what are some things that you think could bring greater vigor to the movement, more life to Jesus Youth as a movement?
Jesus Youth Movement at present is doing a lot through its creativity, but still the percentage of the success is not optimum, it's not premium. That gives us the pain that we have to march forward. We have still more to do for the youngsters, for the church. And I think that we are entering into a lot of new areas. For example, Africa at present we are doing a lot. Latin America also we can do a lot. Even in India also we may be able to do a lot. So I think that we have to check our stock and we have to redefine our programs to suit it for the needs of the present world and the church. So I think that we need to search out new missions, new ministries, and I think that new ministries are coming up. Today I saw a new magazine, it is an experimental copy called Kairos Buds. I think that it is a new initiative, and every new initiative has something positive and can contribute something new to build up the church.
Very true. And it sounds like we need our focus or our ears, if you will, in two places, one out toward the world and its needs, and another interiorly listening to and reflecting on how the Lord continues to move us and inspire us. So thank you, Bishop.
My name is Natasha. I'm from Houston region, and I love reading Kairos Magazine just to see what everyone is doing around the entire world when it comes to JY family, and also just opening up the pages and seeing people that I know that are in the magazine. For example, this trip, the camping trip, it was amazing to see just how beautiful these youth got to experience in camping trips, and seeing people that I know, and we are able to share our experiences and are able to reach the ends of the world through this magazine. I recommend everyone please subscribe to the magazine, to go ahead and just take the chance to actually read this, because it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful testimony to how God is working through our movement.
Would you not join us?
Speaking of initiatives and ministries, what are your thoughts on Kairos Magazine and Kairos Global and all of the initiatives that we have in Kairos here?
Yeah, I am a regular reader of Kairos. Once I get it, I sit quiet, start from the first page to last page.
Well, the editors will be happy to hear that.
Yeah. And it has three positive dimensions. Number one, it is well contented, beautifully presented, attractively presented, and it is not long articles, rather small sharings. So it is attractive, and its content is quite precise and quite important. The second is, it is very much motivational. Every piece, every page motivates you, inspires you. I think that is very important. Very often, having read the whole book, about 100 pages, I feel what I have gained. But it is very small, you can read within 2 hours or 1.5 hours, and that inspires you. And number three, it opens possibilities for new experiments, that you are invited to collaborate with new possibilities. And I think that the sharing of testimonies very often made people to examine their lives and to reorient their lives. For example, sometimes the large families of Jesus Youth, I have often read the stories of the large families. Anobi is going to baptize the 9th child.
Yes.
A story sometimes unheard, not past but in the present. And it has given inspiration for many people to have more children. For example, the testimony of doctors, the testimony of police officers, civil servants, people doing their ministry without corruption, without wrong intentions. I think that reading of Kairos, I consider for me sometimes a continuation of Pentecost. you are encouraged, you are motivated, you are much convinced about the principles, the values. So these three dimensions I consider Kairos performing excellent and extraordinary.
Thank you again, Bishop, for your kind words. And we're just about wrapping up now. But before we do, as you know, recently all around the world, we're now dealing with a pandemic, the coronavirus and COVID-19. So maybe before we go, Bishop, if you have any words of encouragement or support for the church and for Jesus Youth and for all of our watchers, is there anything you would like to say before we go?
I think the panic created by COVID-19 is beyond comparison. I was surprised when I came to Atlanta for my flight to Houston. Such a busy airport was empty.
Wow.
My flight was not even 25% filled. So the panic created is beyond any comparison. Here are two things I would like to tell you. We have to listen to the voice of the experts, health department, the national leaders. That is one part, and we have to abide by the instructions given by the government, the health service. Thereby we can also an instrument in the hands of God not to spread this disease, to diffuse this disease. We can be very cautious, we can be very prudent in obeying the instructions. Number two, here I have a feeling it is a reminder that man is not able to do everything. He needs God. And here I think that as Jesus Youth members, good Catholics, good Christians, we have kneeled down. We have folded our hands together. We have to ask the intervention of the Lord. Lord, send your healing power on us to control this epidemic and to heal everybody. I think both should go hand in hand. So our brain shall become a means for God to work miracles. Similarly, our prayers shall go high up to heaven to bring the healing of the Lord to the poor people suffering. This is my advice to all people.
Thank you very much, Bishop, and thank you again for your time here with us today. It was a pleasure to get to know you better and listen to your words of advice and encouragement and support for the church, for the youth, and for us as a Jesus Youth movement. So we wish you safe travels and all the best to you, Bishop. God bless you.
Chris, thank you very much. I'm very happy for the first time that I am interviewed by a young man. I was interviewed by non-Indians, but it's for the first time that I am interviewed by a man with full of flesh and blood.
We're being careful of germs, so instead of shaking your hand, I'll just say namaste.
Namaste, Chris.
So,
thank you.
thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
This is the age of apps. From communicating with people under the same roof, ordering food, buying groceries, to networking with a stranger, we are constantly in touch with these special apps. Daily, there is an information overload. How do you navigate through this overabundance in the digital world? How do you choose what is best for your body, mind, and soul? Kairos Global Magazine strives to become that chicken soup for your overwhelmed soul. An initiative of Jesus Youth, Kairos Global brings the life-transforming power of words with its vibrant design and potent stories of how young people are transforming the world around them through the power of Christ. It is unparalleled in its ability to reach today's young generation. Being new in its ardor, methods, and expression, it is an essential lifestyle tool for evangelization, indispensable for every Jesus Youth. A simple way to introduce Christ through the testimonies, sharings, and real-life experiences of young people. Don't believe us? Try leaving a copy of the magazine at your library, workplace, dorm, or classroom and see how it opens up avenues to share the love of God you have experienced to others. Kairos Global, we are reaching out, putting out into the deep water and letting our nets down for a catch. Would you not join us?